14 minutes after 5. This is Philomena Pragasim, in the studios of Traxx FM. And today we're talking on a very interesting topic, volunteerism and how far are Malaysians into it. And we have a very exciting array of not just volunteers, but special guests in the studio. We have Encik Azlan Rudi Malik, Chief Operating Officer, I Am For You. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Azlan, yes? Good to have you.
You can call me Rudy.
Rudy, okay. All right, also Betty and Gomes volunteer with the National Cancer Society Malaysia. Welcome to the program, Betty.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. And Betty herself is a cancer survivor.
That's right, yes.
All right. And also, of course, the well-known Mr. Raja Singham, Managing Director, Brickfields Asia College. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Great to have you. You're going to sing for us as well.
Oh, God.
Okay, all that depends on the outcome of the show, what we do and all that. And also Chef Muhammad Shafiq Khairuddin, Executive Corporate Communication, Yayasan Sukarelawan Siswa.
Yep.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Great to have this awesome group with me. And the producer for today is Miss Ira and also Alvin right here standing, helping out. And of course, you can call us and be a part of this interactive program. The numbers to call us are 2282-5491, 2282-4746. But first, let's just look at volunteerism and how far are we getting there, and what made these four very interesting people seated right in front of me actually go into this area. So perhaps I'd like to start off with this from Merchant of Venice, Shakespeare. He said, "How far that little candle throws its beams, so shines a good deed in a naughty world." Pretty much interesting. So let's just go on with our first ladies first. Perhaps let's start with Betty. Betty, what actually made you, volunteer and help out those, going through a very hard period in their lives, especially where cancer is concerned?
Okay, well, my encounter with volunteering started when I was diagnosed 12 years ago for breast cancer, and I chanced on National Cancer Society where I did my scans. And then after that, given me the jab and asked me to relax for the results to actually jab me. So what happened is I needed to go and relax, and that they sent me upstairs to the Resource and Wellness Center. So while I was waiting there, I discovered the center and discovered that, wow, we've got so much things on our mind, having just been told that we've got cancer. So the environment there was fantastic. And so that was actually the start of my relationship with volunteering with the National Cancer Society. So after I'd come up with all my treatments, then I decided that it's time to give back to the society. So that's how my involvement started with the National Cancer Society.
So you must have undergone a very positive, cooperation at the National Cancer Society. You were actually diagnosed with a very terminal illness, and it must have been the way people were talking to you at that time. It must have been a very sensitive moment whereby people were actually, relating their problems perhaps. How was it like? What made you actually?
Okay, well, 12 years ago, the awareness wasn't there like it is now today. So the thing is, I was just told to sit down and relax. We didn't have a support group at that point. Very small scale, So the thing is, but the lady there that helped me, she came out and gave me the help, and I'd only discovered that she was a survivor after I'd left the center. But the feeling that I felt that they welcomed me, and they were so willing to give me the information, whatever that I asked for. So that's actually what gave me that feeling that when I get through this is the time I'm going to give it back to the people who will experience cancer.
Very interesting. Okay, and let's just move on to Mr. Raja Singham. Mr. Raja, you are an entrepreneur. You've also been awarded the Man of Education by the SME Brand Laureate Awards sometime last year. This year you got it in March 2015. All these things, and you're a philanthropist as well. What actually made you move into this area of volunteerism?
Okay, for me, it's more a fact of trying to instill values, trying to get a community of people up and about, because I think there's a lot that we can actually do. The challenge for us now is actually trying to mobilize individuals and corporates and get them together for the greater good. And I believe in the power of the individual. I believe in the power of corporations. I don't think we should always depend on government and the mechanics out there. I think we should help ourselves. This year we actually won the CSR award for ASEAN, for Malaysia. We were picked as the company for doing CSR work, and we represent Malaysia in ASEAN this November against our ASEAN counterparts. But when we did it, it was not motivated by any awards. We didn't know, suddenly out of the blue someone called and said, well, we've noticed the work you're doing. Simple examples, we look at things like education. A while ago there were a lot of people complaining about standard of education. So when an opportunity came, there was this young gentleman, Edmund, who was actually trying to get funding to do something like the Khan Academy in Malaysia. We are the advocates for Southeast Asia, but to do something like the Khan Academy in Malaysia, we volunteered, so we fund it. So we've actually put the entire Malaysian school syllabus online for secondary school. By end of this year, we'll have primary school up. I'm hoping next year to do it not only in Bahasa and English as it is now, but also in Mandarin and Tamil.
So this is a free tuition.
It's a free tuition.
Online.
There are 2,000 over videos online, and that's one of the projects that we do. We also run free sessions for teachers, so teachers can come in on the weekends, and then we teach them if they're interested to learn things like flipped classroom, presentation skills, and improve. We don't charge for this. So on the education side is one of the sectors, and this is now being used by Orang Asli, the refugees, and so on. We're now going to train 200 over teachers, hoping that they can help train and teach the refugees, and also in the rural areas for Orang Asli. So it goes on, and that's one of actually 30 over projects that we are currently working on.
30 over projects, okay. So it's a clear example of how a corporate organization also, undertakes voluntary work. And this is something which you're instilling among young people, especially students who are very much involved in your CSR works. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah, we try to get as many students involved. In June, we started a thing called a Social Enterprise Challenge. So I said, well, we'll give 3,000 ringgit seed money if we can get 100 groups of students together. We've got 20 because a lot of them are doing exams and some on vacation. They'll come back. They pick a charity they want to help. It can be anything from the SPCA to an orphan home or anything what interests them. Their passion. And they run a project. My kids have run now night runs, charity runs, concerts, shows, bazaars, and they raise the funds, and the money then goes to the charity they pick.
And this is totally off whatever credit marks they get.
In our case,
out of passion.
It's not part of the syllabus. It's not part of the credit. They are doing it because they want to. So if we can get people moving and the young people moving, not because it's part of the credit and they get some credit,
get an A for that.
Of course, there are things like there's the competitive spirit and the prizes and bits and pieces, but they do it because they genuinely want to help. And when you have students like that, you can't help but be thankful.
I think it's brilliant, because changing the minds of young people, and that's what we're talking about today. How many young people are really into it? And when we say young people, I'm going to come back to you after this. But first, let's speak with Rudy. Yep, Rudy, you're with the COO of I Am For You, a huge organization when it comes to voluntary programs and volunteers. Yep, so many activities. I think it's synonymous here in Malaysia. Yep. So what's happening right now? You've got new things coming up as well.
Yeah, we've been around for 3 years. We were formed in 2012. So management came in 2013 January, and that's when I came on board as well. My background in volunteerism is zero. Prior to that, I was a finance guy. And I play in a band. I'm the drummer of Pop Shavit as well. I play for a lot of shows. We do shows for charity, save the whales, that kind of thing. But that was just it. When I moved into I Am For You, it opened my eyes because I realized that there was so much that we can do, but there was not many platforms that allowed us to do this kind of things. So I Am For You is actually a platform for the volunteers to do volunteer projects in a two-pronged kind of way. The first is we provide funding for volunteers who want to carry out projects. And nowadays, volunteer projects don't cost much. It could be like 3,000 to 4,000 ringgit, to buy all this the accessories that they need to carry out the project. So that's the one way. The second way is where we pull in volunteers to do projects according to the programs we initiate ourselves. And I use popular culture to pull them in. And when they come in, they will see the value in the projects. So that's a two-pronged kind of way that I Am For You is acting on.
Okay, fantastic. And also I have Muhammad Shafiq Khairuddin, Executive Corporate Communication, and we're talking about Yayasan Sukarelawan Siswa. So you're reaching out to a whole lot of students out there in the universities and so forth to get geared into voluntary work. And you yourself, you've got the Tokoh Pemimpin Sukarelawan Award, or UMT, 2013.
UMT
Fantastic. Congrats.
Yes. Thank you very much.
So this is what, a new award, or it's an ongoing award for very long?
It's just a one-time award. When I was a student, I studied in UMT for 3 years until 2013, and then I graduated, and that's when I get involved with YSS. Okay. But previously, Philo, I've joined, I first started YSS in 2012 when I first joined its mission in Vietnam, together with my friend Iqbal and the rest of friends from USM and other university. And then I also went to Vietnam for a second time in 2014, and that's when I stayed in Vietnam for 1 month during the fasting month. Well, that really teach me something, seriously. But
so you're really doing a good thing during the fasting month. So what were you actually doing in Vietnam? You're, piloting and stuff like that? That's what I noticed right here?
Yes, of course. Other than teaching English in Vietnam, we also do hard volunteer works. That's the core of YSS. Because I see a lot of people also do volunteer works, but what makes YSS so different from IM4U, from NCSM and other organizations is that YSS is specific for students, either in IPT, in university, college, community, polytechnic. So they are allowed to join us. But they must be registered with the HEP first.
Okay, so this is people who want to join you. Now, what makes you talk so passionately? What were you actually doing in Vietnam?
So back in Vietnam, what I did was, other than teaching English to the students, because actually, to surprise, students in Vietnam, they are actually good in grammar, but in terms of pronunciation, they're quite poor. So we were there, we teach them in terms of fun learning, where also we also get the student volunteers. What I did was good hard work when we built roads, we repair toilets, and a lot of hard work things. So it was different, isn't it? Communicating with people, children with a different culture, getting them to trust you. Yes, true. Getting to know them. It's a learning process, long life learning process.
And to trust you. To be able to go back to Vietnam again and again to do this particular project, I think there's a lot of, good communication skills as well as trust. So you must have really touched their heart.
Oh, thank you.
Yes? Okay, so we're talking to Muhammad Shafiq Khairuddin, Mr. Rajasingham, Betty Ann Gomes, and also Aslan Rudy Malik. He just said it. He's a famous star there, Pop Shavit. Okay, so if you have a question or you want to join in this conversation, give us a call at 2282-5491, 2282-4746. Philomena Pragasim here in the studios of Traxx FM.
Tune into Face to Face, live on Traxx FM with your host, Philomena Pragasim.
Okay, so Leo Rostin once said, the purpose of life is not to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make some difference, that you have lived at all. Now, all you people whom I'm talking to, let's just look at the current Malaysian scenario. You have IM4U, you're trying to get more people into it. Mr. Rajasingham, he wants to have more students into it. But basically, let's just look at Malaysians. Are we a people who are into volunteerism, or is it something that is just newly cropped up? Is it a new word? Or are we really for it to see this change, Mr. Raja?
I think there are lots of people out there doing good things. Last weekend, I'm actually one of the committee members for the Selangor Society for Civilly Mentally Handicapped Children. It's run by a friend of mine, Fadila. She's the president. And over the last weekend, they did a charity sale on Saturday and Sunday, and we were full with volunteers. These are people who give their time. They do a lot of work, their own time, and look after these 20 over kids who get help at the center. And when you see how passionate they are a lot of good people out there. Sometimes what we feel is we need to just help to channel the energy, and people want to do something. Nothing feels better than helping somebody. Nothing actually makes you or gives you a greater joy than actually going out there and doing something for someone.
You say channeling the energy. Are you saying that people don't know? I mean, there are a lot of people out there who want to do good, they just don't know what to do. Is that what you're saying? I'm
saying yes, because there are people who sometimes who want to do things, but it's the avenues. They don't know how can we help. So if someone sort of told them, well, you can do this, they'll often come forward. And then we can channel that energy, channel the drive, that passion, that enthusiasm, and so they can actually help someone. I give you a simple example. We do things like, one of the things we do is we work with an organization called Tech Outreach. Tech Outreach is a group of, it's volunteers. Now what they do, they have several things. They help women, disadvantaged women. I mean, they call them single mothers, but women who don't have an income, they have a family and they don't have the means. Tech Outreach has helped over 1,500 women in Nepal, Malaysia and Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Now,
so this is an international organization.
Actually, it's out of Malaysia.
I see.
They're actually out of Malaysia, and they actually got UN funding earlier. It's like the Grameen microfinancing, but they don't take any interest. There's no interest. They are interest-free loans.
Okay.
Now, how we help them is when they came to see us, so we help them by running an entrepreneurship program. So the women come in, they do a 4-day program. We fund that. So we pay for the teachers, we provide the classrooms, we provide the syllabus, we teach them finance, branding, how to set up a business, how to run things. At the end of that 4 days, they get 2,000 ringgit. That seed capital or capital for the business they're already running. They could be running a nasi lemak stall, they could be running a home catering, they could be baking cakes at home. We give them 2,000 ringgit, and Tech has got volunteers who are fantastic. These people give their time, they are, all their assistants. Over 18 months, they mentor them. On a weekly basis, the women give back 30 ringgit. At the end of 18 months, they'd have paid back the 2,000. But they've got people mentoring them for an 18-month period. And at the end of that 18 months, they'll be better.
I think it's fantastic, this mentoring thing. A lot of people need that guiding hand, someone to hold your hand. And this is, like you mentioned, something that's empowering women as well, teaching them to fish and not just looking out for handouts.
Yeah. So the way we work is actually working with organizations. So we've got Tech Outreach. Recently there's now an anti-domestic violence campaign that was in Publica and then moved to Gardens and then the Women's Ministry by the Women's Aid Organization. So we sponsored that. So that to create awareness about domestic violence and to see, that people are more aware, to get women to come and speak up. So we work with Angsana Care, which is an organization that helps terminally ill children in government hospitals. So they provide art therapy, music therapy, counseling for the parents. Say if the children have got cancer, leukemia, and they've got a few months to live, the idea is to go cheer the children up, and help the parents cope. Throw a birthday party. Now we don't do as BAC and as ourselves, my organization. What we do is we help them with things like getting their websites up, getting their corporate videos up, designing their logos, designing. We've got our advertising.
And that goes a long way, actually.
So we get all those things done, and then organize fundraisers. So we're organizing a fundraiser with the premiere for the James Bond movie. Those kind of things. We've got for SSMH, we're doing a fundraiser for Star Wars. We did one earlier for Avengers. So what we do is we pay for the cinema. We book the entire cinema. So what people donate when they buy any ticket there, every cent from the ticket goes to charity, and they get to watch the movie and do something good.
I think that's excellent. So much of things that are happening out there, good things actually. Most of the time we're hearing lots of bad stuff, but here we go, a lot of positive energy, positive things that people can actually undertake. I think you've thrown a whole lot of light in that area, Mr. Raja. Okay, let's just ask Betty here a question. Betty, would you actually have ever thought about volunteerism if you were not in that situation with cancer many years ago?
Frankly speaking, I think I wouldn't have, because, at that point, you're trying to build your family, trying to actually, working up the corporate ladder, So I don't think I would have done volunteering, because at that point, life is quite difficult, managing a family, managing a job. Yeah, I was holding a job then. So frankly speaking, I probably wouldn't have gone to volunteering unless I really had spare time. Then I would have chosen to do it, you see.
Yep. Okay, but now you're involved with people who have this disease, cancer.
Right.
What's one of the most difficult things that you undergo as a, a person working in the support group for cancer?
Okay, well, with the support group, my support group is called Pink Unity. We have about 350 members with us. Okay, the good thing about the support group is we're all together in it. We're fighting the same cause.
You're talking about 350
members, lady members.
And they are people who have had cancer.
That's right, and they are in my database. So I'm in touch with these 250 people. Of course, there will be the more active members and the less active ones. Okay,
we're going to come back after this call. Hello. Good evening. Yes, Philomena Prakasim here.
This is Ramesh here. I'm just asking the panel, how many Malaysian organizations are volunteering overseas? I've heard of it, but is it more than that we know of?
I see. Okay, thank you, Ramesh.
In all the needy countries. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's a big question there. So how many, I think I've asked this question too. I am for you, yeah? Are you just centralized in Malaysia, or are you guys like all over, or are there organizations outside? I think Raja just mentioned that you have something that's happening overseas as well.
Yeah, I think this is something which YSS and IM4U as well is doing. We have volunteers that go overseas and help out. And there's another, if I'm not mistaken, under the Ministry of Youth, is this program called MyCorp, right? Where they send Malaysian volunteers overseas to do work over there. Now, people may ask, why are we sending volunteers over there to do community work? Which benefits those countries over there. I think the way we have to angle and look at it is the value that they get out of it is the volunteerism that gets embedded in the heart, and when they come back, they become better people. You know, that's what we're trying to do. Now, how many organizations that do this, I don't know per se right now, but
right now, I've got a whole list here. Perhaps, Ramesh, what we'll do is
the exact number.
Check out our website. Actually, Traxx is putting this up in a while, but if you are interested to join in and become a volunteer, here we have IM4U. We also have this Muhammad Shafiq with Yayasan Sukarela this one, but that's only open to students. Am I right?
Yes, true. To students in studying in a university or college or polytechnic, as long as you're a student taking diploma or degree or even master, you are allowed to join us.
And this is nothing to do with getting better grades.
Oh no, because this is more about capacity building. Because we're looking forward to build a student who, when they come back, when we send them to Vietnam or Sabah or Laos, when they come back from the mission, they wanted to start up their own. They want to spearhead their own volunteer missions back in their college. So this is when we want to spread the culture, inculcate the truth of volunteerism in campus.
Okay, fantastic. And we're talking about unsung heroes here, people who work in the background trying to bring cheer to people. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, you can still call us at 228-25491, 228-24746. We're going to go deeper into this topic. Stay tuned. Okay, Mariah Carey there, and hero. And we've got quite a lot of heroes when we talk about volunteerism right here in Malaysia. Many people who are going out there, making Malaysia known, working with people who are needy and so forth. Yep, I'm here in the studios of Traxx FM. Once again, we're talking about volunteerism. Where are we as Malaysians? And yes, it's an interesting forum. And let's just pose this question to Betty. We left Betty halfway there. Betty, so you said that you would never have gone into volunteering if it weren't for this, cancer that came along your way. Yes. And how does it feel now when you're working with women? What is your biggest challenge?
Okay, well, firstly, I think I volunteering is fantastic, because I think I was in a corporate world for so many years, 15, 17 years, and the satisfaction that I get out of volunteering is out of this world, because we're not paid to do the job, but when you make a difference in someone's life, I think like somebody else mentioned, it's a different world altogether, so the thing is, it's fantastic to be able to help make an impact in someone's life. Yes.
Yep, I think that's beautiful. Lightening someone else's burden.
That's right.
Yes. Let's just look at our Sukarela ones. This was student volunteers.
Yeah.
Yep. How do you feel as a young person? You're straight from university, you've been awarded something. But basically, what was the first thing you felt when you actually went into this volunteering service?
The first thing I felt, of course, at first, I was thinking, why am I in Vietnam? And then after staying
especially during the fasting month.
Yes, of course, during the fasting month, and also the Raya. We actually celebrate Hari Raya over there. So for one day, and after that, I start building roads. So yeah, it's quite rare. Not many people. But then I was thinking, not many people are willing to do this. And not many people are willing to travel this far to get here and help people over there. And then I start realizing when I got back in Malaysia, I was thinking how much I miss Vietnam. Because one of it is because of the culture of volunteerism. I would like to share about Green Summer Volunteer Campaign. It is an initiative by Ho Chi Minh City Youth Union, which collaborate with YSS. And to be honest, YSS is one of the Asian nation which is being invited to join the Green Summer Volunteer Campaign as representative for Malaysia. So YSS also, when I went there, after doing a lot of fun learning as well as building roads, it makes me feel open up. When we communicate with people with other culture, they do things differently from us. Then when we got back, we feel grateful. That's what I feel when I got back here.
So what? You made a lot of friends. Were you ever, a person who is this open, or were you shy when you started off? Did volunteering, all these things, did actually make you a better person, made you more active, made you more, what you call it, brave to go out there?
Volunteerism make me who I am today, actually. Because when we go out there, we are actually popping the bubble all around us, and we actually go out beyond what we think whom we could be. So we meet a lot of different person when we join volunteerism, as well as to initiate something, a project. Imagine when you're out there away from your family and friends and trying to initiate an impactful project to benefit the community over there. So it's such a challenge, but as a student and as well as a youth of Malaysian, I think it makes Malaysian proud as well.
So what happens to all these student volunteer groups? They are with this Sukarelawan Siswa. What happens when they graduate and they go off? Do they have another society that they join, or is it just finished? I mean, I noticed that all these student organizations, you have a lot of volunteer groups, or like I Am For You, Rudy, like you pointed out, is from 18 to 40. But what happens after that? Isn't volunteerism a lifelong thing?
True, yes, true, Philo. Actually, after they graduated, they will become our alumni. So after they went to our mission, after they become our alumni, they will keep on to us.
So it's a lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong thing. As long as we keep running missions locally and abroad, they are allowed to join us.
Fantastic. And Raja, you were saying that you actually started thinking about volunteerism when you were in primary school or secondary school with this Ethiopian. I still remember that. Way back, I think the world started talking about volunteering, helping out people. What song was that? We Are the World? Yes?
As long as we don't have to sing it now.
I don't think you guys remember that.
I haven't been born yet.
Really? Okay. Yes.
Yeah. No, I think I've always been active in doing things. Even through secondary school, I've had it a bit better. So I used to actually see friends who are not as well off. And for initial thing, people don't understand. It doesn't mean you've got to organize a big event and do a big thing. Volunteering can just mean helping a friend who needs help. So sometimes when I have 2 textbooks, I'll give one to a friend. Sometimes when they need help with work, I'll help teach them, or help them. So it was helping other students who needed a little bit of help. And I think that's where it starts. Often people think, I've got to go and do some big thing now, I've got to go and build a huge dam, or I've got to go and do some massive thing in order to help. But help can actually start at any time. Just helping somebody who's next to you or around you or whatever for a better life for themselves is fine.
And what do you get? We're talking about this touching another person's heart. Now, what do you actually get? You said you have from young, and you were well-to-do, and here you are helping out others. Now, I thought this is something which is very noble. Is it something your parents inculcated in you, or is it just something
I think
important?
it's just instilled by your parents and your upbringing, and, it's a question of whatever that you can do to help someone, you try and help, and if, wherever you can. I think the first big project that we did on our own was actually with a few friends in 1985. We organized a fund to try and, to save Ethiopia. That was the big thing then, the We Are the World thing. We tried to get a concert done.
How old were you?
18.
Okay.
All right. In 85,
okay.
So now you know how old I am.
I wasn't asking you.
30 years. That was 30 years ago. So when we did that, it was really challenging. 4 people trying to go, and we didn't realize how many approvals, how much, it was involved in printing tickets, selling of tickets, getting artists, and then at that time, even taking part in these things. And it was a huge endeavor for 3-4 people at the time, because we were doing it on our own, not under any organization. But we got it done, finally, and did it, and we really felt a sense of accomplishment. Ultimately, however, we gave the money to I think at that time, the Red Crescent.
Okay, so you never went to Ethiopia.
But then everybody was saying, any money you send will never get to these Ethiopians. So, and by the time we got the concert up and running, I think the Ethiopians were probably taking care of themselves. So we said, we'll give it to the Malaysian Red Crescent.
And so how much did you make in that very first annual?
Quite a few thousand. I think somewhere probably around 10,000 ringgit, which was a lot of money.
Which was a lot of money at that time.
At that time. We had the concert in Klang. So the thing is, after that, we used to help as a college, and we set up the college. We used to help people in terms of for their education. So there's sometimes people that come in before they can't afford. We'll try and see how we can help them. So yesterday, actually, one of the students called me who's coming to sign up with us and enroll. And then she said, no, I met a friend of an ex-student of yours who's now in Australia doing her PhD. And she said to thank you, because if it's not for you, she would have never got her law degree. And she wouldn't be where she is today. And for me, this girl was from some years back. So we used to help in that manner, help students out in terms of...
it comes back to you, it comes back.
So, years later somebody will say, I got a letter from one student once whose dad wasn't very well to do, and we helped her, and she said, no, without you I wouldn't have got the law degree and wouldn't be where I am today. So where we can help. But earlier we were doing that, we helped them with scholarships, we helped them to try and see whether they can, get educated.
And so, Raja, what you're saying is organizations should not just take, but give. Because it goes a long way in touching the heart, and not just taking. So are we a taking society more like it? We're talking about the baby boomers who are actually giving. I think we were a giving lot. But what about today when we look at Gen Y? Rudy, how would you describe the Gen Y? Do you find that you're into volunteerism, a lot of 18 to 40 in your age group area? How many of them are willingly coming into volunteerism?
So maybe I just explain a little bit more. We focus on 3 segments. The first one is the student segment, and then the second one is the youth that has started to work. And the other one is the youth that has families. So now the first segment, students, they volunteer quite a lot because they have time. I think let's put it that way. They have time. They come out and they want to learn about new things. But it's the second and third segment that has it's a bit more challenging because they have either work priorities or families and they don't have time. So we try to figure out how to get them involved. Now the thing is, this volunteerism thing, let's put it this way, it's not glamorous. Okay, for students nowadays, especially the generation Y and Z, they like to do things which a bit more glamorous and whatnot. So we have to really inject a little bit of pop culture here into volunteerism and make it the next pop culture. I mean, that's where...
How do you turn that into a pop culture? Okay, you've got 4 stuff here. What do you call that? Fighting dengue is also one of your volunteering missions.
We go beyond all these normal gotong royongs because we got to look beyond that. We got to come up with unconventional volunteer initiatives. For example, I give you we just did a reach out run. Okay, it's a marathon. Now you may think a marathon is just something that is simple, but the initiative here brought together 5,000 people where they paid in their registration fees, and this involved the second and third segment, the people who are working and have families. So their registration fees that we collected, we managed to collect 200,000 ringgit that goes to charities. Okay. So in a way they say, oh, this is a very good chance for me to really be healthy, at the same time contribute to back to the community and charities, without me really doing a lot of things, but I'm there to give because I don't have much time. So I've got to come up with a lot of initiatives to really tackle the Y and Z and these few segments. So it's not easy. The Y and Z is we need to really, for me, I am for you, really focusing on making popular culture a part of volunteerism so that they really come in.
And also making sure that they stay with you. I said it's very difficult for you to keep people with you all the time and, carry a project through, isn't it?
Yes, which is why social media is really important. We have like strategies on how we post on Facebook. Like, you have in one day you post 4 posts at certain different times where they actually check their phones. They finish classes, they check the phone. So we really know what time they will check, and that's when we activate these strategies so that they really check the
So this is purely something which is just beneficial, I mean, they don't gain anything, there's no money involved, no glamour involved, but they're just involved in it. To just go out there and join I Am For You and volunteer.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And same with you, Betty, You also are in an organization, no money, but just happiness at seeing, touching another person's life. How has it enriched you? You said a little bit earlier, but basically, how was your family towards you going out there and spending time? How much of time do you actually spend?
Well, we do a lot of projects. The Pink Unity Group, we do a lot of big projects. So the one we did last year was the Islamic Fashion Festival, where the organizers give us one slot where we sell tables and we make some money out of it. So how has it enriched me? It's just that because it's a passion, it's a calling, I realize, so the work life actually is nothing in comparison to what I'm doing now. I find it so fulfilling, you see.
And you're working with young women?
Well, basically, I think it's mostly in the 40s. Of course, we've got those who are diagnosed very young, then if they find that we are in their group, they're in group, then they join us, you see. But sometimes with the young ones, they normally got to go back to their life, they go back to the family, so they don't really have so much time, they're just bringing up young children. So the ladies in their 50s, they get attached to us, you see. So they see the work that we're doing, and they see the good that's coming out of it, and they come and they become volunteers themselves, and it's like a
very
positive,
positive thing that's actually happening. It's so good to hear from all of you, because what we are hearing is a lot of positive stuff about what volunteerism does. Is there any way that we can actually sort of instill this without, you putting it on Facebook? Yep, for a purpose of letting people know what's happening. But do we have it inside? How do we instill that spirit of people not being selfish but going out there to help? I think we saw a lot of that during the floods last year in Malaysia. Malaysians were just coming out, trying to help everybody, children saving up. Now, are we there yet? Who can answer this question? Yes.
Yes, actually, during the last flood, actually YSS has organized a post-flood mission, which involves around 5,000 student volunteers from teaching institutes, which is IPG, Institute Perguruan Pendidikan Guru. So we started in Kota Baru in Kelantan. So we managed to mobilize around 5,000 student volunteers.
How was it like for you at that time, going out there, working again? Yes.
It was fantastic, I feel, because why I feel fantastic, because there's a lot of volunteers are willing to spend their time, willing to shovel the thick mud to actually clean the schools. It's surprising, but the spirit actually makes it fun and happy.
So you would go away into volunteering a long time to come, yes?
True.
Malik?
Because it's more on passion. Because when we do something good for others, even though we don't get any return, because our volunteers don't get paid, but it's the return when we see things are cleared, such as the school has been cleaned, we feel satisfied. It's enough. No money involved. Maybe we just got a few T-shirts for just to wear, so we don't get.
And this is good, right? Because as Malaysians, we're trying to bring the cheer to everybody, regardless of race, religion.
True.
Everyone is working together to achieve something, and I think that's beautiful. Yes, Raja. How do you? You think what can we do to make it even better?
I think it's also the people you're surrounded by. I'm very lucky. My wife, actually allows me to run around. I think 2 weekends ago we had 4 charity events
for single mothers.
We had 4 charity events on a weekend. Saturday we did an inter-school futsal competition. 150 schools took part.
So your weekends are practically full. Are you saying
Saturday evening was a concert. No, sorry, a run at night. I ran. My wife also took part. I was last, I've got to say, because trying to keep up with the college kids, I was just basically walking, and I've got to admit I was dead last. They were just way too fast. But in order to show support, because they organized it, so we went in. Sunday we actually had a walk with challenges, which we funded and supported with them, which was an inclusive community. Basically, we brought in the autistic, Down syndrome, wheelchair-bound, visually impaired, got all of them in August 2nd, International Friendship Day, and got a walk with about 2,000 people running and walking, which we mentioned, and getting that whole community together on one day, and it was to raise funds actually for them, for their activities which they run in schools.
How did it feel, Raja?
It was really great. And I called a lot of friends of mine, I said, you guys come in, we were sending out WhatsApps to everybody, and lots of my friends came, and they said, actually on a Sunday morning at 7:30, this was actually, I didn't think I'll be up here and doing it. And then they said, we really enjoyed this. And then 1 week later, we did Peace Road. 1 or 2 weeks later, Peace Road, which is a 120 country initiative, which we also sponsored. And we got 3,000 people there to come in.
What's this award you talked about that they're giving you? For volunteerism, or
no, that's you see, I have to admit one thing. I do more of the thinking and the strategy side of it. People come talk to me and they say this is the problem, and I look at it, because as an entrepreneur, when we look at it, we look at things differently. So we'll say, okay, we can do this, and this is all it's going to cost, and I can get people to help. So I'm surrounded by wonderful, family, wonderful staff, wonderful people around me, all of whom pitch in. They come in and work sometimes 7 days a week. I go out, and then these guys say, I come back and say, okay, guys, I've got something for you. We've just now volunteered to do this. And then they all look, but because they are so fantastic, they'll come in and say, fine, we'll do it. And they are there sometimes, in 4 events, my camera guys are running around because they say, can you guys shoot the video, because we don't have anyone. And we do it for free. So can you do a corporate video? Can you do a website? So we just, whenever we've got, because we have an ad agency, we've got events, we've got 12 companies in the group.
People to help.
So whatever we do, we have the expertise. So if someone comes to us and say, we need 100,000, we'll say, we can't give you 100,000, but we can do this. And we can run 1 or 2 activities, and we will raise that 100,000, and we'll all have fun doing it. So if you're prepared to do that,
there goes your
then,
fishing story again.
Yeah. So I mean, if you do it that way, it's a lot easier than people just come in and say, can you give us 10,000 for this? Can you give? We don't have that much money. We're not that rich, but we know we can think, we can help, and we can empower them, because ultimately what we want to create is sustainable social enterprises where they're able to feed themselves, where they're able to look after themselves, where they don't have to keep going around begging people like, can I have 100,000, can I have 10,000? Because in the long run, that's not going to work.
It all ends up closed. Okay, I think you've pointed out a very, very interesting theory there, yeah? And this is something that we should look at it, not just from big organizations like yours, Raja, but also how very small entities or people can actually think about creative ways to get things running. So it's really brilliant. Yes. Anything else?
I would say that, the human race has always been inspired by people who do good, great stuff. And from there, you'll see innovations coming up, and they themselves stepping up and do the things themselves. So what I feel that we should all do, which I am for you is also really striving to do, is to create champions of causes, because when you have inspirational people do stuff, and that's when people get inspired, and then they feel that, hey, I can do this too. It's just an ordinary person. I can do this too.
True.
It's proven. I mean, during the floods, I mean, I just tried to test this. I posted a lot of pictures for volunteers doing a lot of work and showed how serious it was in Kelantan, and people actually messaged me and said, how can I help? And these are people who never volunteered. So it actually goes back to the point where you need to be inspirational.
I think at the root of it, Malaysians are a helpful lot.
They are.
Okay, and it takes people, like Raja, yourself, getting people mobilized. Yes? So I think it's fantastic, whatever you guys are doing. You talked about empowerment and also talking about being inspiring. All right, thank you so much also to you.
Thank you, Philo.
Yes, Mohammed, and also to Betty. Yes, Betty, so keep the good work going. And thank you so much, Mr. Raja, and also from Sukarelawan Siswa, yes, Shafiq, and also Rudy and Betty, thank you for coming. Thank you also to my producers, Zahira and Alvin. This is Philomena Pragasam signing off. Stay tuned, guys. Keep on volunteering out there. Keep on doing the good work. And up next, we have DJ Diana. Stay tuned to Traxx FM.